to farm into the mid game over them, rather than having this Alchemist having double your net worth.
Well, perhaps they can draft themselves a bit more of a comfortable lineup this time.
Sure.
We have the same bans as far as Escape Gaming goes, the same sides as well.
Oh my God.
The Warlock is the only question here, right? Yeah.
Cross your fingers, Warlock lovers. This could be a game for
That's
you.
nobody.
I'm a Warlock lover.
Escape would love to get their hands on that Warlock.
Oh.
No way.
Damn.
They debated it though.
What did you just say?
They debated letting it through.
Oh, I believe.
I thought you said debated.
I thought that was the most casual debated I've ever. They debated it though. Oh my God. Don't talk like that, Cheater, please. Yeah.
I don't use Twitch emotes in my normal.
That's good. That's when you know you're too dank.
That's a healthy
too deep.
person right there.
When you're on a date and you're like, oh, ha ha, when things get awkward, you're too dumb.
I really like this soup and then kappa.
Anyway,
It worked. It worked the first time.
Might be awkward.
the same thing, yeah. We're seeing the exact same draft coming out from Alliance. The question I have, though, is Escape going to let that Alchemist get through this time, though? It seemed like the death and the nail in the coffin there, Fogged.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll stray away from the Lifestealer first two this time. It just
think so?
it gets pressured really hard by the Darkseer. Like usually you want, like when you see that Lifestealer in the lane, he ends up having like such a good start that he's able to make the moves with like your hero that wants to, like with the Infest obviously. And I think the Darkseer and the Earth Spirit they hindered his farm just that right amount to just slow him down and not able to make the moves. So I like this approach much better now. Invoker gives you a much more mixture of abilities, obviously, since he has physical potential and magical potential, and massive amounts of team fight.
Now, last game, Invoker was banned out by Alliance, but this game, Escape is able to pick it up. How's that going to change the flow of the mid lane here? Is it going to be much more of a hot topic?
They already obviously revealed the Invoker, so now it's up to Alliance. Like, they're able to reveal their mid a bit earlier as well. They're like, I mean, Invoker can't go to any other lane. He has to go mid, so now Alliance they can pick whenever they want, they can pick their mid lane or third or fourth, but it makes it a little bit harder, I guess, for the Alchemist, but I mean, he does pretty okay versus Invoker anyway. Poor man's shield with, like,
Does that chick have red hair? Hey, oh!
I think it was purple.
That was
also,
incredible.
Alliance afraid of the Trixie Sun King.
I think it makes it easy to set up Sunstrikes and stuff, and yeah, like, why not, right?
I mean,
ban out one of his comfort heroes.
I probably would have left that Sand King in after that last game, Fogged. I'll let him have it again.
Yeah.
Best of threes are about adapting, about changing it up. So, I think everyone's kind of realizing that Sand King was not the build, was not the play, but we'll see what's coming up next.
I mean, like, the thing is that if EGM wasn't there to get that, like, Fate's Edict at, like, the 8-minute mark in the bottom lane, like, he would have had such a faster blink on the Sand King. So it was just, like, it was hard for Trixie to actually play that game into the Oracle because of the Fate's Edict.
Well, it's good to see a little bit of respect coming out.
Yeah,
So
of course, why not?
there you go. Very nice. All right. Let's see. We got another ban coming out from Alliance Sheaves.
Yeah.
Escape did not like the pressure that they felt with versus the Darkseer Earth Spirit. It's just too much like wombo combo in team fights. It gives you too much control in the fights, and it's super annoying to play versus that pressure in the laning phase.
Absolutely. I mean, their last lineup was pretty much a bunch of heroes that were designed to be ganking around, putting on pressure. But when you got an Earth Spirit on the other team, it's just so much better than anybody else. I mean, your whole thing falls apart.
Yeah.
I'm liking that Void ban.
You are?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Chronosphere's a good spell.
Oh!
Damn.
I've learned so much. No, I think you have a pretty good point there with the Invoker, right?
Yeah, it's great for the combos with the Invoker. It's also a hero that benefits from Bloodlust into the later stages of the game. So it's, they don't want that tri-core potential from that at least. But Escape, yeah, this is definitely a good, it's just easy. You just lost this Alchemist Oracle nonsense, so get rid of it. You don't want to have to deal with it again. It's too strong. It's at some points when you don't really expect it.
So Escape Gaming really likes the Mirana, and normally when they pick it up, you don't really know what it's going to do, because YapzOr plays it really well, and so does Koikfa. Are we going to see another Mirana here? Or is it too much to deal with that Oracle that can just purge off the arrow?
What, if YapzOr's playing the Mirana?
Either, really.
I think it'll be a bit strange for them to do that, but we'll definitely see it.
Oh my God.
Alliance takes, is this the legendary Lotus
Dude,
Slardar?
is this the Lotus Slardar? Oh my God. The days are past where Loda is a passive person, the support, the man in the shadows. Just like Slardar, he went right in the front lanes. He's bashing, he's killing. Loda's an animal.
Or Hanskin is pulling a Lil.
Don't do this.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. It's actually for sure possible.
And for people that don't know what that means, it means that there's a support Slardar
No.
And that has proven to work out in the past. So there's a chance. Come on.
No.
And it's the dual pressure, you know, it's the Ion Shell, Slardar in your face in the laning phase that can be very annoying. And it's
But-
VP used to, yeah, like you said, they always did it with the Darkseer. So.
But if it's a core Slardar and you get a Handskin Disruptor, think of the vision and
The
the
vision.
glimpses that's possible.
I mean, yeah.
There's nobody that's gonna rage out of your glimpse so far. There's got someone that maybe spin out of the glimpse apparently. And that's maybe annoying. But I still would like to see a Disruptor.
I mean, you make a huge point. People always used to pick Bounty Hunter with Disruptor just because Disruptor used to be big in the meta, all for the vision. Then he got replaced by Slardar because his ultimate does the same thing, kinda.
Yeah.
If you're just looking for kills, right, Annie?
Yeah, I mean, I think we still need to see what Alliance are thinking of here. I think it's probably going to be that core Slardar, but I don't know what they're going to do mid.
Huh. Yeah, that is a good question. We got one more pick, though. As we've talked about earlier on the panel, everybody likes to save that mid pick till the end, right?
Apart from Escape, because they already have an Invoker, which I'm assuming is mid.
Oh, yeah.
I like this opener much better than...
Law.
We knew what you meant. You meant for Alliance.
Yeah, of course. You know, I mean, that's definitely what I meant. What were you saying, Fun?
Good job, Slav.
I like this opener much more for Escape, though. They have more versatility in their draft already. They're not like locking themselves into a lifestealer like they did before, when it's not like the best hero in the world versus the Oracle Darkseer startup. And this gives them more. You know, they have multiple building hitters. They have healing ward on top of the Invoker who can split push too. So this gives them more like late game potential. So
That is a limp hero right there.
that's
Yep.
a limp hero.
We got a DK.
Yup.
DK versus Invoker. Pretty even matchup. I think even DK wins for quite a bit, and then Invoker starts being able to come back.
So
But
Alliance
Bloodlust.
have potentially 3 melee cores. Is that going to be something that Escape can easily deal with?
It's the MVP strat.
What is that?
MVP is the one that runs 5 melee heroes, or at least used to, and and they win with it. They run you over.
Damn.
DK turns into a dragon.
This is
He's
true.
really
Yeah,
Right.
he is ranged some of the time, but
I would say mostly range.
Annie, you said earlier that you'd like to see Chaos Knight.
I
Now, Chaos
love
Knight
me some Chaos Knight.
Has a horse.
Yes.
This guy does not have a horse, but can turn into a dragon. Which do you prefer?
I'm going to stick with Chaos Knight, as I previously stated that he's my favorite.
Okay.
Chaos Knight. He's got a horse.
This is important information, guys.
I mean, it is. Every little girl needs to decide if they like dragons or ponies.
I think the dragon is cool.
That's very
a
cool,
great point,
Sheever. That's
Sheever.
great. Well, right there, they're talking about it. Dragon or horse?
I don't think they're talking
No,
about
they,
that. No.
they've tuned out from the panel long
Okay.
ago.
So, Escape Gaming, what are they going to go for? We're still lacking a Yapstor hero. We already have the Cinder and Ogre Magi. And we're lacking a Trixie hero. And, I mean,
Ricky.
Ricky Maroon.
you said he practiced Ricky, Mirana,
Ricky, Mirana, and
Sakas.
Sand King are his most played in the past 30 days, but we're going to see a Nyx Assassin pick up.
I do like that a little bit more than a Ricky. You don't want to pick that into a Slardar, but you can survive with a Nyx against a Slardar, right? I mean, it's something. Still kind of scary, though.
You can run into Iron Shells and just stun the Darkseer whenever you want to if you want to use the spike.
Hell
characters.
yeah! The Ghostbuster play. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
It's good versus the Oracle and the Darkseer, and it gives them this kind of like I was mentioning, they have like this split push potential, and Alliance is already drafting toward this like full tempo push lineup with the Darkseer mech with Dragon Knight on that timing push. You know, you get the Blink Dagger on Slardar, you get your mech on Darkseer, you get your level 6 or whatever, 8 or whatever it'll be on Dragon Knight once the Slardar Blink comes out, and then they start just pressuring towers. So I think Escape's going to be going for just like that split up the map. We'll go for these like pickoffs on the Oracle, like push the map out with Invoker and Juggernaut, and just take this to later stages.
Well, Dazzle is the one that Alliance was expecting for Yapsor. I would like to see a bit more aggressive hero from Yapsor anyway.
Sure.
Mirana is still in the pool.
I think maybe because they have like so many armor heroes. I don't know, like the DK
Yeah.
has such high armor. Darkseer's gonna be building a mech. Like Dazzle can be. That Dazzle fits into Escape's lineup quite well as well, and Weave will be very effective for them.
Well, we're going to see that Alchemist ban that we thought, of course. Don't want that repeat one more time. Who would be really good at wrecking Escape Gaming? Let's see here.
I mean, it's still open, you know? They
Yeah.
can still put Handskin on the Slardar, and they can still pick Loda a different carry hero. It's still not set in stone that it is that Slardar carry.
So what is their lineup lacking right now? Because they got the push in the Dragon Knight, they got the tower pressure. They lack some range, definitely.
Range initiation. I mean, they're going to have Blink Crush on the Slardar eventually, but until then, what do? How do you get a hold of your victims? Just
They
Dragon
got Surges, Dragon Tails, Fortunes, and they have a lot of mobility on the hero so far.
Escape still thinks it's a support Slardar. They
Yeah.
even ban out the Lifestealer. That's very, very cool. And Lifestealer matches up so well versus Invoker and Nyx. Juggernaut, I guess, he matches up quite well versus Lifestealer, but yeah, that could have been very painful if they did pick that, and Escape just doesn't want to deal with it, which is fine.
Could
They're very
Alliance
low on time.
Go for the roaming Mirana?
It's something that, I mean, we haven't really been seeing in favor so much. I guess it's a possibility, but maybe.
Good for sure.
Yeah,
It's
well,
good with the Moonlight Shadow as well. It always gives you that little extra potential in the team fights.
time is ticking down. 10 more seconds, and you can see live version. Oh, they
Venom?
finally got it.
Oh.
Hello.
Elder Titan is back.
Speaking of melee heroes, Escape drafts himself 4 melee heroes.
Now, little known fact, a lot of people think Elder Titan, you pick that as a counter to Dragonite because of the armor reduction. Well, guess what, Sheever? That don't work. He's got innate armor.
He's got plus armor, not
That's right.
base armor.
Indeed. So, not a counter pick. Why'd they pick it then?
I think this is kind of the same thing that I was saying. They don't really want to just take these straight on fights. They want to delay the game out and do this split push fashion. Elder Titan, what else? What's a better hero than that to stop people pushing up on high ground?
And it's
super
great
obnoxious.
against melee heroes as
And
well.
it's great
Yep.
against all this melee clump as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Imagine if Nyx gets an Ags in this game. High ground defense with an Elder Titan, it ain't ever gonna get broke.
They don't really have the best like heroes other than that for high ground defense. So I can understand why they picked it. It's also now more lockdown and everything. And I guess it's just like what they're trying to go for. They're not really trying to go for this like straight up fighting lineup right away. It's just going to take some time to build into it before they can fight into Alliance's heroes.
What kind of invoker does
Support Slardar.
Oh shit,
This
you guys
though,
called it.
look at all this armor on Alliance's side though. It's actually ridiculous to deal with that Elder Titan.
But they got natural order though. I mean, that does work against Sven, right?
No.
No?
Negatory.
I'll never figure out how that hero works. Oh.
So
For another
the
day.
question is there going to be a game 3? Is Alliance going to 2-0 or is Escape going to bring it back?
2-0.
2-0.
I'm going with Alliance as well this time.
Incorrect. We're gonna have an Escape Gaming victory this time. I think the Elder Titan is definitely gonna be able to hold that high ground. We'll be good.
I believe in Lotus Sven.
You're
So
wrong.
I'm going for
wrong.
Alliance as well, and we're going to see if Slacks is going to keep up his 100% win streak so far, which he betted that he would get today. Let's hear from our commentators, though. It is over to Odie Pixel and Gods for Game 2 of Alliance versus Escape.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to myself and Gods, ready to take you through Game 2, of course, of Alliance versus Escape Gaming. Alliance, obviously, as we saw in Game 1, looking very strong. Here in Game 2, the draft's pretty much totally different. Last time, we were kind of liking Escape's game in the draft. That was pretty much down the pan as Alliance kind of stomped them. Game 2, what do you like more here?
I'm liking Alliance a bit better. I don't think the ET, I think all the just armor they've got going for them with the DK, the Sven, the minus armor from the Slardar is going to be really tough to deal with. Like it's pretty much, this is like a all-in Koikva kind of game as far as Escape's draft is concerned. Like he's the magic damage, he's got the Sunstrikes as well for some pure damage, he's got physical damage with the Alacrity Forward Spirits. There's a lot of pressure on him. Jug does not match up well against Sven to begin with because you see that Omni Slash, you throw a Warcry. Not to mention there's high armor on Dragonite as well. Oracle can save people. There's such great defensive capabilities for this Alliance draft, so I think Escape have their work cut out for them if they want to win this game based on the draft.
What do you think about the choice as well? Alliance obviously kind of switching it around with the Oracle, but Hanskin playing the Oracle this time around and then putting EGM on the Slardar. Yeah. What do you think the reason is for that?
I think the Slardar support's not the surprise, but yeah, EGM has been almost exclusively playing 5 position. We're not seeing him play the 4 so much, but perhaps something they've changed in last game, like with the Earth Spirit, maybe a hero that EGM just straight up doesn't
30
play.
seconds to battle.
Not to mention, Earth Spirit's one of those heroes that could kind of be a 5 even when he's roaming around, just as far as his farm allocation goes. So Alliance obviously have something in mind where it comes to the comfort of the players with their heroes, that they feel like they can both play Oracle, but maybe only Hanskin can play the Earth Spirit is my guess.
Let's see here, Trixie might walk into a bit of a nasty surprise, and indeed already Trixie's like, oh shoot, I gotta get myself out of it, boys, but they've got so much lockdown. The Spike Carapace, they'll buy him a bit of a time, but a Dragon Tail into a follow-through crush. I mean, he's fairly beefy on this Nyx Assassin. Can they actually get the kid? Doesn't look like they can. Trixie's gonna be able to walk it off that level 1 poor man's shield, and Spike Carapace pretty much saving his life there. And yeah, Trixie to escape.
That's really good. Limp was tanking tower hits, so he had to use his salve early, and he's not here for the first creep wave in the mid lane. He had to go back for the bounty rune. Now he's running back mid. He's going to miss the first like CS or 2. He didn't get experience. He didn't get a chance to deny anything, so this is definitely a favorable start for the Escape side.
Yep, so coming in for a bit of harassment onto Limp, but Limp as well has the poor man's shield, so not taking too much damage at all from those right clicks.
Pretty obnoxious stuff. And the other big loss for Limp is he's got Dragon Tail level. Well, Courier! Ooh, that's close.
A little bit risky there. EGM's actually going to rotate across.
As soon as Yap sees him, he's in there, hits the 2-man Astral Spirit. You get a lot out of this spell when you're hitting heroes, not so much from the creep. So if you're hitting 2 heroes with it, you get all that bonus movement speed, the damage, and you can just run in and give them the briefcase.
Absolutely, EGM taking a lot of damage off the back of that movement towards the mid lane. On the side lanes at the moment, we've always got the 1v1 matchup up top and the 2v2 down bottom at the moment. Hanskin and Synderen dueling it out in the support role, and Loader on the safe lane, Sven, doing his best to farm up against Trixie's Nyx Assassin.
Yep. I think this is Escape looking at this like it's more important for us to pressure the Sven than to secure Jug free farm and zone a Darkseer, and Jug 1v1 against Darkseer should do all right. He's got the healing ward for the sustain, so it's going to be more about winning this bottom lane than winning top by any means.
Yeah, Yap down here as well, making the life of Loader a little harder. And that top lane, absolutely all going to be eyes on to Jug and see how much Era can find here.
But sensing weakness in the top lane, EGM's now rotate up here. He's kind of in the trees, waiting to bait out the Blade Fury, and then you could go in. If Era Blade Furies, he may just straight up die here. That's something he's going to be aware of, and EGM's in a really nice little position.
Farm at the moment, though, not to be slowed down too much on Loader. Still at the top. Keeping himself definitely not falling behind at the moment on Sven. Mid lane, though, Limp certainly having a much tougher of a time. We saw EGM obviously come around for a couple of waves at the start, but now since leaving the lane, he's getting beaten pretty hard by Koifer at the moment.
You're playing mid DK without Breathe Fire? What the heck? I don't know. I don't know about that one, OD.
Oh, well, you would definitely have taken that over a second point in Dragon Blood.
I think you got to. It's a free range CS. It lowers Koifer's damage and means he may miss his CS. So for the fact it can get you a CS and make Koifer miss a CS,
he's got the point now.
Yeah. But again, that goes back to that failed first blood where he leveled up Dragon Tail. That screws over your lane so much having that level 1 Dragon Tail. Top lane, they're going on Era. He's got no Blade Fury for a couple seconds.
He has got he's got the man going to Blade Fury now, so should be fine. Trying to get as much damage as he can in under the duration of it, as he's got the salve as well, so Era just doing his best to play his way around that harassment.
That's a salve and Mango though, so it's still a tough lane for him and ultimately worthwhile pressure coming out from Alliance. But yeah, not going to be an easy lane. Era's still being kind of pressured this top lane, but with the creep wave dying, it doesn't look like Alliance are going to commit for that dive.
Bottom, still trying to do his best to hold Loader back.
He's got 17 CS, he's farming just fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like this aggro lane from Escape has been particularly effective. They have secured Trixie farm, he's got 15 CS, but not feeling like the dent has been made in Loader's farm and item progression that I would have expected from this aggro duel/trial. Yepter's been both mid and bottom lane, he spent a decent amount of time bottom, so seems Alliance is securing this bottom lane very effectively.
Is there anything else that you feel the supports of Escape Gaming could look to achieve at this stage in terms of going to another lane?
Not much. Yep. I mean, he's tried his time at mid, at bottom. They could have like trialing that. Once Darkseer gets levels, you need to commit 3 heroes if you want to gank him. But you could zone him level 1, but once you've decided to start with the ET mid and the Ogre bottom, you're committed to giving that Darkseer levels and farm.
TP down from EGM, immediately looking to fall into position, following through on the Stormhammer onto Trixie. Trixie in a bit of trouble here. Back up, but it's not going to be enough in Alliance. They'll find themselves first blood. See if they can get anything more out of this one. Indeed, surrounding Cinder, and with the Storm loaded, jukes out the sleep very nicely. Comes back in with that Stormhammer to find a second. And Alliance catching Escape Gaming totally off guard with that rotation from the Slardar and crushing the aggressive tri-lane of Escape.
Yeah, they're just making good rotations. It's the same thing as last game where it felt like they didn't straight up win by draft by any means. I mean, the Alchemist 10th pick was definitely nice and annoying to deal with, but they make these really well-timed rotations that Escape just aren't ready for and catch them by surprise. We see it again there, and this time it's EGM, not Hanskin, playing that kind of rotating hero, and he finds the early kills in the bottom lane.
Mid lane Limp now starting to catch back up with the Breathe Fire and such, but still quite with the defensive lead in this mid lane.
Now he's level 6, so he can start pressuring the tower if he wants to use that ultimate, although he hasn't leveled anything just yet. He may be telling his team, hey, look, I'm level 6, come for a gank, I'll get the range stun on him. But definitely something that Limp will be wary of. Alternatively, he can look to rotate to the side lanes and start pressuring towers if he wants to.
Bottom lane escape, returning their full tri-lane pack down here as well. EGM making the full Sinner and seeing if he can interfere with it at all. Bringing Trixie over as well. But Yap already heading away, looking to get that 6-minute rune down from bottom.
Yep.
And that's because the Unison fans starting to skip the creep waves up top as well, so more and more pressure being put onto Era's lane. And as we see, he's a little bit behind Loader. Definitely is farming for this safe lane spend, going a bit better for Alliance, and the fact he got involved in those kills, but now he could be in trouble. The stuns, the stun strike gets enough from Escape to bring down the Sven. And Loader taken down. And that's a big kill as well for Escape, as he was having a pretty good start this Sven, regardless of the fact that that tri-lane has been in his lane.
Yeah, that's important kills and something they, I think, recognize, like, okay, with the stun strike, we're effectively kind of a 4v however many, 4v2, 4v3 lane. Let's make use of the fact we've got the input from that Invoker to make sure we can start getting some kills there. So Loda going to be put back to base and now kind of considering where he wants to go. Does he rotate in the jungle? Does he go back bottom? He will head back towards bottom lane, but this is a lane that's going to get more and more difficult now because of the arcane boots.
Well, they catch out the Sven with the sleep, but of course just looking to burst down the Oracle instead, making sure no chance for a face edict or such comes out. And again, these stun strikes, it's getting Koikfa in a very nice place on this Invoker. That extra bit of gold into his pocket. He's finished the Midas 7 minutes in. Very, very strong Midas timing on this mid lane Invoker.
Yeah, the big thing is Nyx got the arcane boots. That one death on Trixie really set back the aggro tri-lane because it slowed down the arcane boots, but now that he has it, all three of these heroes have that mana sustain. They've also got level 4, level 5 across the board, so they just kind of got those missing levels as well as that key item, and this bottom lane is completely changed now. Loda cannot farm down there. He's been forced back deep into his jungle because of this, and he's staying the hell away from Escape's aggressive heroes. But that's something Alliance have recognized, and they're going to try and rectify by bringing in EGM as well as Hanskin on the support.
Just seeing if they can get themselves involved in a fight. So when they were able to do it earlier down on the bottom lane, it did go well, but obviously since that, as you said, Escape going to get 2 kills in return in advance, closing the gap that Alliance were able to create.
They've smoked up, they're looking for Invoker at mid, but perhaps recognizing it's not a safe place to be. They're going to give Yapsa the lane and rotate Koikfa to the Ancients. This is a rotation almost anticipating Alliance's move towards mid, because you're totally okay losing an ET in the mid lane. You don't care if he gets 3-man smoke ganked and died.
And I think Alliance realized, obviously, with Koikfa gone, they want to look towards the top lane. They also scanned one of the camps that they thought he was backing off to, obviously getting no reads, so saying, okay, it's unlikely he's in the jungle, he's more likely he's going to be over by the Ancients. So our target now is going to be the Juggernaut. Top lane, he doesn't have the mana for Blade Fury. Era could be in a lot of trouble here.
Oh dear, yeah.
And just surrounding him, coming around, found the tower. There we do have it, just coming up in time. I mean, that actually might have saved him. He just had enough mana there as it ticked up for that Blade Fury, but still with a wraparound from Limp, he loses his life. They have lost the Slardar, but with the chase down onto Trixie, Alliance will look to make sure that this trade, a 2-for-1, favoring them. The rotation is successful, and they'll be able to get a good amount of damage done onto this tower. They may even be able to take this tier 1 as well with the Dragon Form.
Looks like with Dragon Form and the Creep Wave rocking up, they will get that. No TPs really possible, and that's big kills on Jug and Nyx. Those are kind of the tempo controllers who are looking to make space for an Invoker to farm. Invoker's kind of hero that takes a bit longer to come online. He can push lanes, but he doesn't want a team fight. You don't want to be losing those 2 heroes at this stage, and Escape will be set back quite a bit by that.
Now, this is a smart play from Alliance. Getting a tower and saving a tower, and maybe even finding kills down bottom. And Koikfa and Sin, obviously 2 of the tankier targets to go for on Escape Gaming's lineup, so they'll be fine. Alliance back away, and looks like they may end up losing the tower nonetheless down on that bottom lane anyway. So it will be that tier 1 for tier 1 trade.
Loda's just going to start ulting the neutral, so he's just looking for that bit of farming efficiency. As, yeah, the bottom lane will be completely ditched as Alliance kind of fall back to more defensive positions around the mid lane, even around the top lane, because they've taken that tier 1 tower. They've kind of got access to that dire jungle a bit, and that's something they want to make use of, since their jungle suddenly gets a whole lot scary to farm. And you're worried about the Nyx, he can Vendetta on through. There's kind of too much space around your jungle to sentry everything, and that's where Trixie can set up kills for the Invoker Sunstrike. But he does Vendetta right on top of a Radiant Ward, so they do know he's coming their way.
Top tower is under attack.
Loader gonna farm one more camp there. That's
They did see.
Oh gosh, I'm surprised if he farms this.
He may be in trouble, yeah.
Yeah,
He certainly is in trouble. Didn't get the memo.
Yeah, a bit silly. He had all the information. He vendetted on top of an observer, and finishing farming the first camp is fine because you know how long it takes to get there. But going for that second camp.
Back of this. Looking for another. EGM is going to be saved by the Face Edict. Now Alliance with the turnaround. Getting the Dragon Tail out. On to the next assassin, but in fact, at the end of the day, the heal's helping out. And Era will just quickly pick off EGM on the side with the Omni. Alright, Omni slash there. Securing himself that tasty kill. Gets him a phase boost done. And Escape Gaming 5 for 4. Certainly looking to be in a better position than they were in game 1 at this stage. 11 minutes in. It's looking strong. Quite first still at the top of his game. And both of them going to be very hard to slow down. And they're looking to move in on to the Dragon Knight with the Blade Fury. The magical damage ripping through him. Alliance just losing some very key kills there in quick succession. And Escape Gaming finding some really good momentum.
Yeah, they're just playing this fast-paced Dota that's catching Alliance by surprise. Every time Escape's kind of going in for a kill, Alliance are just a little bit behind as far as reacting and having the necessary numbers to kind of turn it around. Last game it was the Fate's Edict that was turning around these kills, but this time around there's physical damage from Omni Slash, there's this pure damage from a Sunstrike. They've got a lot more just general damage output. Something it felt like lacked the last game against the Oracle, and we're seeing it here. Alliance on the back foot and kind of forced to maybe play a more farm-oriented game. They've got the mech on Darkseer, so they could try and use this, and they are grouping up around that mid lane. Perhaps thinking they can use the Dragon form to, chip away at this tier 1 tower and maybe even take it.
See how much Escape Gaming want to throw in terms of defending this one. Already the wraparounds coming through from EGM. They're looking for Cinnamon in the tree line. They will find him with the initial crush. And Skin could be in trouble. They're going to drop the wall down as well. A lot of hate here for this Ogre, making sure that they get the kill. And they do.
Yeah, they had vision of Trixie bottom, so they know Trixie can't fight because he's got no mana, so you have to TP back to heal up his mana. If you take out the Ogre there, you commit the ultis, but at most there's 3 heroes mid, an Invoker, an ET, and a Jug without Omni Slash. So I think Alliance know by killing the Ogre there, they pretty much guaranteed a tier 1 mid tower. The Vacuum, the Wall aren't really big teamfight winning spells just yet. You're still very early on in the game, so just playing it safe in Alliance, make sure they can get some objectives for themselves. They want to be taking towers where possible using the DK. It just kind of frees up their own jungle, gives them a little bit of space to get that Sven online and farming. He's now got the Ancient stacks starting, and this is a decent amount of farm coming his way. Loda's probably just going to farm this right away, but Trixie, in the neighborhood.
He is around, and of course he'll be happy to set something up for a Sunstrike. He'll let Loda. Let's pull a little bit low to the Ancients. There we go, coming in, but of course the Hanskin, of course, game 2 on the Oracle this time around with the save. False promise. And Alliance, maybe let's see if they can turn. An ult comes through from Yapsor, and with that, they've actually found Loda. They'll get EGM and Hanskin. And even though the initial attempt there with the stun and Sunstrike isn't successful, the follow-through from the rest of Escape Gaming destroys them. They'll take some of the bigger Ancients as well, by the looks of it.
Yep, Quick comes in with the Forward Spirits. If you want to go for that Ancient stack, it's very easy to say this in hindsight. You've got to do it with the Sentry Ward against the Nyx. They were doing it without the Sentry Ward. Escape had, they now put down the Observer Ward post the Ancients fight, and Trixie was there ready for that. Great play coming out from him, had the Sunstrike to back him up, and even though he had the Warcry and wasn't taking much physical damage, the Sunstrike just does such high single target burst.
Innocent fan. He's going to be caught out as well. I mean, Sims and Trixie, they'll look to take him. He has the mech. We'll buy him some time to get out. Looks like he will just survive. Now for the turnaround, EGM sprinting forward, looking for Sin and Yapsor in the sidelines, just a crush onto the Elder Titan. A quick turnaround for Sin, and now Era turning up to the fight as well. He does have Omni Slash available for this one. Just using the Blade Fury to clear out the creeps, moving across. Loading against the Storm Hammer onto Trixie, but there's no follow-through damage. EGM tries to come in for a crush. He's not going to make it. Era with the Omni Slash bringing Loader down low, looking to chase him out. Loader with the Warcry, trying to get himself away. He will just get himself out in time. Is that going to take him out? It's going to be close, though. Okay. The save's there. Face Edict from Hanskin keeps Loda safe.
That was a messy fight. The Darkseer not dying at the start. The Sunstrike wasn't invoked, and the invoke was on cooldown, so unfortunately for Escape, they couldn't finish bursting him without the Sunstrike, and Alliance thought they had the turnaround, but that was a nicely timed and placed Omni Slash from Era, and Escape just made sure they had all the numbers there to back up the aggression of the initial duo.
Well, what do you think about the build of Koi for this game? He's gone from the minus the bots and straight into the Blink Dagger. No drums, no ags first.
It's kind of cool. Something we saw around the Ancients fight. It didn't actually end up mattering too much. Was he can TP onto the Astral Spirit of the Elder Titan, so he can be kind of farming and split pushing a lane and then TP in for a fight and not just on a even if it's in the jungle, just because of that Astral Spirit TP. So it's a really nice bit of synergy there.
Stun. They've got the follow-up. They have got the ult in the switch. This is going to be messy for Alliance. They've already lost one. They could you try and turn it though. Surrounding YapzOr, they will get a trade. So they'll take that. If they can get anything else, the haste read on Trixie, he'll be able to get himself out of there.
Still an okay 1-for-1 because you've got Quake for farming, bot, Era farming, top. It just feels like Alliance are getting less out of the map right now. Meanwhile, Escape are just kind of pulling more and more ahead in terms of farm, not just the kills. Quakefa especially, you look at the net worth and you see how far ahead he is from any of the Radiant heroes. And the one hero that's closest is the Darkseer. It's not a hero you're threatened about carrying the game. It's the Sven who's only on 4.9k net worth, number 6 on the net worth rankings. DK's at a measly 5.4k. Escape has done a really good job ganking these two carries.
Yeah, Trixie just 1,400 gold, sorry, away from Aghanim.
That's very early Ags.
A much stronger game as well here, this game 2 for Trixie compared to his game 1 tanking performance.
Yeah.
It's always good to see, especially, you know, obviously newer to this lineup. Obviously gets a lot of flack coming in as a player that's been on a bit of a hiatus in the pro scene. And now showing us that he can still bring out these performances that,
yep.
You know, as they were saying on the panel, we've seen from the past, Trixie back in the days with old Fnatic, definitely a player to be scared of.
Yeah, and he really has shined on this Nyx. It's kind of nice to play these heroes where you can kind of have that solo mentality where you're rotating around, going for solo kills because you're not really by yourself. This Sunstrike means you've got that extra burst down. It's like having a Dagon on your Nyx. It's not an item that you particularly want to get, but if you've got a Sunstrike behind you, it means you actually can get solo kills. So he's been able to make a lot of really nice plays to find kills for his team, and we'll see if he can continue to do so. At this point, it's like he's already done his job and more, so he doesn't have to keep going around solo. If anything, it's probably better that he sticks with his team more because that's what Alliance are going to be doing. They're going to be trying to bait the Nyx aggression with sentries and hope that he runs into a sentry and they can burst him down at the start of a fight. So I think Trixie's best bet is sticking with his team. They didn't commit for the Roshan, something that Escape will be considering with the Exod Invoker. You can always take that very early, but for now, it looks like they just want to push out some of these other lanes. And Alliance, well, they want a 5-man. That's probably their best bet around the mech, around the Oracle, is trying to take down some of these tier 1 towers.
But at the same time, Escape Gaming, they'll be happy to 5-man as well. Already with the wraparound.
There's a lack of sentries on the Alliance side here.
Let's see what kind of a lead they can get. Trixie with the Vendetta. Oda on the back at the moment. Quaifa coming in across the bottom of the river. Single's actually going to be the one to open her. Maybe even looking to try and get Alliance's attention. Trixie's actually going to miss the stun though. Doesn't get it onto hands, Ken. YapzOr throws down the ult and the sleep to hold back some of Alliance. But already Escape Gaming, they've lost one. Alliance find themselves anything else. By the looks of it, it's just going to be a case of Escape trying to get themselves out of there. Quaifa in the trees, has a blink. Immediately heads down south. EGM, yet of course to have a blink himself, so Quaifa should be fine hiding in the tree line here.
Yeah, no scan. They're pinging kind of down there, but there's no scan, nothing to verify his position. And look it out. Felt like that smoke from behind should have been more impactful from Escape. They didn't. It's easy for me to say because it's like, oh, there was no sentries on the ground. Nyx could have just Vendetted in and gone on anyone and bursted them with a Sunstrike back. Well, ideally the Oracle, because anyone else you go on is going to get False Promise, but they could have bursted a hero with ease, but obviously Trixie's thinking in his head, they're going to have sentries. They're 5-man pushing, of course they're going to do it with sentries, but it was just the one dust which they just kind of threw willy-nilly. Almost like anticipating like, okay, Nyx might be here, let's throw a dust. Turns out he wasn't, but ultimately for Escape, they'll early smoke. They'll get the Aegis following up the fight. They only lost the support. They didn't even lose their tier 1 tower, so realistically, it wasn't even really it wasn't a lost fight for them, that's for sure. It wasn't a one fight, but it was kind of just neither team getting all too much and then Escape getting an Aegis, so they can actually be the ones applying pressure as a team based on this item.
Let's see what they can do here. Back around towards the Ancients again, chasing down Hansken. And he's going to be the first one potentially in trouble. Has got the Fate's Edict, allowing him to walk this off for the time being, but of course the damage still there to follow through. Escape Gaming finding another, taking back again this control around these Ancient.
Loda's still feeling very underfarmed on the Sven. He's just not really hasn't had access to his Ancients is the big thing. It's normally one of those things that people always say, you got to contest the Sven Ancients, but it's much easier said than done. But Escape have managed to do so. They came in, killed him when he first tried to farm it. They took the kind of remaining big creeps, and since then, hasn't been able to really stack it back up and get any farm for him from those Ancients. And that's something that's really hurt his farm and progression. Just 6.5k net worth. The Nyx is out. All 3 Escape cores out farming him.
Yeah, this is, and it's going to be scary as well, because again, looking towards Trixie, he's very close to the Aghanims. He's closer to the Aghanims than the DK and the Sven are to their BKBs. And, you know, turning up to a fight where Nyx has an Aghanims and you don't have a BKB, it's going to be very hard for these 2 cores to get anything done in these fights.
Yeah. And both are pretty small mana pools, where if you mana burn a DK or a Sven once or twice, like that's a big chunk gone. That's maybe 1 less stun out of a DK. That's potentially 1 less stun out of a Sven. So it makes a big difference for these heroes when they don't have the mana pool to fight with, or you could even force them to BKB preemptively because they're like, okay, I want to run in, but there's this Nyx there and he's mana burning and throwing impales. I got to BKB, then run in rather than BKB once you're in the fight. I think Loda's probably looking at the Blink Dagger as his big timing here, where when he has Blink as well as what he's got now, the Helm and the Echo Saber, he'll be ready to fight. But until he's got the Blink Dagger, I think Alliance are very limited as far as starting fights and taking it to Escape. On top of that, there's an Aegis, so I think the Aegis is something they want to try and wait out. They wait that out, they get the Blink Dagger, and they'll be a lot better. But ET's got a Solar Crest now, so that's going to be an annoying item for Sven to deal with. You can chuck it on a teammate to boost up their armor. You can even chuck it on the Sven himself to make him miss a lot. So something where Loda's going to see this and think, God, what do I build now?
This bottom lane, Escape Gaming gearing up for a bit of a heavier push. And indeed, as we can see there, items at the ready. The Trixie's yet completed Aghanims, and Koifer as well. I believe that was the complete one as well. Or at least very, very close to having it finished. Let's see what Alliance can actually do to stop this, because they're on the front lines, making quick work of this tier 3. And now we're going to have a vacuum, but immediately Era with the Blade Fury backs up. They've taken the tower. Escape Gaming, they found the first objective.
Yep, they can do this relatively safely. They've still got 2 minutes on the Aegis, so they'll heal themselves back up a bit with the Arcane Boots, the Healing Ward, and Era's ready to go again. Yeah, with Mantail's Blade Fury, can get Alacrity, and that Alacrity Jug can just force the Rax push.
And they do have those double ads. Both Koifer and Trixie with them at the ready for this push.
Yep.
So Trixie to head down. Era leading in straight away with the Blade Fury, and indeed just using that magic immunity, gets the punch in onto the Rax. They need some big one both. They have got the potential. Vacuum and Stormhammer. One of the oldest in the books, but can they actually land it?
Kind of reaching that point where getting the tower is possible, but getting the melee Rex is not going to be possible without winning a fight. They could chip at the range, but the range Rex is like not a major objective for them. So at some point they're going to have to initiate and force the issue.
They look to jump in. I mean, she focused with the DK with the Deafening Blast, knocked it back as well, but the false promises there from Handscan. Limp's going to be fine.
Still false promise forced out. Trixie repositions further forward.
Jumping in again. Does have that Omni. Mama from Loda at the moment, just throwing everything they can at Escape, trying to stop them. There's the Dragon Tail, Purifying Flames, bring Era down to half health, but with the Healing Ward out, there's not a lot they can do unless they're able to take it away or at least wait for it to go. Vacuum back, bringing Era into a bit of an awkward position, but again, the Blade Fury is available. He backs off. Trixie's there with stuns as well to hold Alliance back.
Alliance are holding really well. Limp's even held onto his BKB. There's been a few situations where you think he might just throw it because he could be in a bit of a panic or he's been gone on, but the Oracle's just keeping him alive. Trixie, very hard to land those stuns from such a long distance. Aegis has expired now.
Cold Snap, he's been a little bit careful. With Warcry armor though, he's too beefy.
Really strong hold. That's gonna buy them the Aegis expiring. The question is now, do Escape still force it? It looks like they're showing signs they want to. They have made very little progress on the melee, but they've made good progress on the range. Like this range Rex is low enough they can finish it off with Forward Spirits, Manta Illusions, but you can see Trixie even backing off like, okay, yeah, we gotta be a bit more defensive now that we've done the Aegis.
There's a Blink Dagger now on EGM as well, so they've got a bit of a jump potential. Alliance, they're gonna lead forward, there'll be a Vacuum just grabbing onto Trixie. Again, not getting anything more, but indeed half the Rax down.
for all of Alliance's efforts and delaying and stalling the high ground, ultimately it is a range Rex claimed escape. They've committed 5 heroes, but they're also keeping Alliance busy as 5. So Sven's not farming, he's not farming his Ancients, he's not really farming anything on the map. They're keeping Sven down, despite the fact that took them a good 2.5 minutes to take just a range rack. So it's ultimately a worthwhile exchange for them.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Looking for an initial harassment onto Limp. We've got Trixie there. Right now the stun and the... Whoa, hey, K, he's got...
Great impel from
That
Trixie.
is a DK out for 50 seconds. Limp to hit the sidelines. Didn't use the BKB, I guess just underestimating the burst. And once I just got lock on through, but here's the combo that they were looking for. They get the vacuum, the wall, the crush, loaded with the damage, but immediately just held back by the stun. The multicast from Sin Loader held in place. He can't get the damage out. With the Solar Crest on him as well, he will finally get a punch on the Koifa, but the rest of his hits were just missing. He'll buy back. As Alliance losing 3, the Invoker kill was a big one, but they need more than that. Loader do anything here. He doesn't have God's Strength. Jumps in, has the vision onto Trixie, looking to finish off the Nyx Assassin. Will find one Sin with the Fire Blast onto EGM. EGM's out. It's a triple kill for Error as he moves on, finishing the melee racks. Jonas and Fanaloader starting to punch into him, but a good sleep from Yap holds them back. The question is if Alliance can chase this one down. Hanskin looking to see if he can get a lock onto Cinder, and Cinder moves the TP away, but the jump forward, they don't get the chance to cancel it in time. So Escape Gaming get the job done down there. They get out. They did lose Trixie, they did lose Koifa, but at the same time they forced out buybacks from Loader, killing 4 in total on Alliance. They're going to be more than happy with that, getting the job done eventually on the bottom lane.
Yeah, and with how low of a siege and push it was, the good side of that is Roche is going to be respawning fairly soon. I was like, they started that push with an Aegis. They end it with Roche about to respawn. It was such a slow roll, but it worked very effectively. They did in such safe fashion, using the sustain from the Jug, using the Blade Fury magic immunity to hit the buildings, and they just take the pickoffs once they present themselves. And Loda, he had his blink, he kind of had to go in without a DK to back him up, which was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You're gonna lose your melee racks if you don't do anything, but at the same time you go in, he ends up dying and having to buy back, and they lose the melee racks anyways. But he went for the big play, you can't really blame him for that. You'd rather go down swinging rather than just go down without putting up a fight, and Alliance will lose their first lane of racks, but still in a position where game's not all lost. I mean, we talked about how strong their draft is with all the bonus armor. That's something where the net worth difference is very favorable for Escape, and definitely a clear lead for them, but through just the nature of the draft, Alliance can still win team fights. Darkseer with the Vacuum Wall combo, always going to be scary. I mean, Sven's burst damage potential, very potent, and Jug's Omni Slash is not as scary against a Warcry, so I do feel like Escape can't get too ahead of themselves, even though they are ahead.
Yeah, maybe they can get something here with this smoke. They're wrapping around towards the bottom. There's still a tier 1 there, so not a huge amount of access on that bottom lane.
I mean, the Dire Vision is really good right now.
This could be a little awkward if they go up the hill, because Escape Gaming are there.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, they found this out.
Roche is respawning very soon too. 12 seconds from now.
All about control there. As we saw there, if Escape Gaming get an Aegis, it's going to be very hard for Alliance to hold against the push where Error or Koifa has 2 lives.
If you're Alliance, you're thinking, okay, that smoke failed. Let's hope Roche doesn't respawn too fast so we can make a play to contest it still. And guess what? It's respawned very fast, immediately scattered by Escape. Alliance still in the Radiant jungle, so they're near-ish by. Jonas is actually just going to ditch the bottom lane. And,
back.
Yeah, Jonas is ignoring bottom and coming back to contest Roche.
They can get there in time.
But if you see this in your escape, you may just fall out of the pit and try and wait for bottom to push.
And Axonix Assassin is going to be something pretty great for defending the pit. Limp just waltzes in here, looking to try and kick it off, get the vision. Trixie still staying underneath the cover of the burrow. Now it's moving forward and getting the Dragon Tail onto Sin. It's a very split up fight though, as we can see Escape Gaming pretty much surrounding Alliance. They're all split up. Eric jumps in with the Omni Slash. Hansked false promising himself here. Face Edict onto Loader, trying to heal him back up, but Trixie already under. They did get the Amplify out in time though, so this allows them to kill the Nyx Assassin.
Got Koifa too.
Perhaps holding Loader back. They have found Koifa. Can they get themselves anything more already? It's going to be a pretty good fight for Alliance. The crush onto Yap, so they found themselves a third. They might not be done yet either. Error could be in trouble as well. Blinks away. That could be just a little too far to chase, but they'll take that Alliance, taking 3 heroes down.
Damage. They can take Roche.
This is exactly what they needed. Huge gold swing there.
It was 2 split up from Escape during that fight, and really nicely done. But Alliance had all the vision there. There was no dire wards. Radiant put down an observer. They have 2 wards right by that Roche fight, but these were like team fight wards. It gave them vision of all the heroes of Escape. It allowed them to recognize they were really split up there. And something that Nyx lacks is mobility. He's got this Ags Aether Lens build. When he's burrowed, he's so hard to fight into, but he needs to be like with his team. If his team run away from him, he's still stuck in that burrow and he can't offer any support. And that's kind of what ended up happening there. He got trapped by himself. There was a vacuum wall onto him with the Invoker, which didn't really hurt them immediately, but it did keep them split up, and it kept the Nyx and Invoker busy while Alliance chased down the Ogre. They chased down the other heroes.
Yeah.
So,
and if the Nyx gets amped up before he burrows, he's literally digging himself his own grave.
Yep.
He's surrounded and taken down. And yeah, I think, as you said, that was all down to just Escape Gaming's coordination being a little off there. I mean, you can understand why they're split up, because they want to avoid this wombo combo from Alliance. But at the same time, Alliance, you know, these guys, they make the right calls. They say, oh, we'll pick up this and then this, and they break you down in the right order, and they combine massive gold screens off the back of getting those big kills.
They needed to utilize the fact they had that bottom lane taken and it was pushing in. As soon as that bottom lane's pushing in, that's something Alliance have to address. They addressed it momentarily with the Darkseer, but then Darkseer's like, oh, they're going to go for Roche. He surged himself past the Dire Observer to get back to the Roche pit, and if you escape, you can back off. You can even send the Invoker to the bottom lane to split push it and force Alliance to defend bottom. If Alliance can contest Roche without defending bottom, I think that just makes it too easy for Alliance to win that fight.
And loaded with a BKB now as well. So
yeah, these fights get...
BKB is absolutely crucial for these fights against Escape Gaming.
Yep. There's some nice auras and stuff, and we talked about the ETR not being a huge impact, but he's now got a Vlad's as well as a Solar Crest. Era's got the evasion from a Talisman, so these evasion items get kind of annoying to deal with. DK doesn't really like to build MKB. It's not a natural item pickup for him. Sven, similar thing, although likely we could see it as his next item, just so he doesn't have to deal with this stuff, but still tough for him.
I guess ideally, if you're loading, you just want to be able to find the angle to be able to cleave off other units.
Yep.
Try and just avoid having to deal with hitting the jug straight on.
Charging on Send.
Yeah, immediately help out by definitely pass down a Chaos Meteor. Takes him down to immediately less than half of his health. So they've just got to be careful. Healed up though by the team.
Yeah, everyone else just kind of slept up, and I think at that point, Escape's like, well, let's not commit to Loader. He's got an Aegis, and Alliance can't really do too much to chase, so they'll reset a bit, but both in a good position here. And I guess you're kind of looking at, Alliance will find Illusion. If you're Escape, you're thinking like, they've got these double BKBs now. Alliance are kind of at that point with Aegis, double 10-second BKBs, I want to say. DK's down to 9-second. Alliance have the edge in like the big 5v5 team fights, but Escape can try and kite them around, use the Nyx Ags, use just Invoker with all his toolkit. But once the game goes later and and you take a few fights, if you can take kind of even trades, those BKBs get down to 5 seconds, that's where the Invoker suddenly becomes the late game hero. And this is a game where the next 10 minutes probably going to be Alliance favored, then as it goes later in the game, it becomes Escape favored because of how good Invoker scales.
Would be in trouble here. He does of course have that Aegis, and he does have the backup of the Oracle, and immediately turning on to Trixie. At the same time, though, Era's able to jump in and pick off EGM on the Slardar with the Omni Slash. Loader continues to chase, though. See if he can find anything else. The BKB now worn off. Hansken and Limp following through, see if they can go for more. There's a healing ward behind Sind. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? And well, with the Stomp, it may just be Sind surviving for the time being. And with that healing ward, he's able to walk it off, gets himself out of there.
It's the tankiest Ogre I've ever seen. It's got 30 armor with the Solar Crest.
Oh, Naira jumps straight back in. He's looking for Hansken. Hansken with the TP out is not going to make it. Tornadoes there from Koifa. Alliance to lose their Oracle. So Alliance keeping Loader alive, keeping a hold to him, but losing both EGM and Hansken off the back of that.
That's a fight into the Aegis, into the BKBs. So we talked about how this game will swing back Escape's way once those BKBs start getting used a few times. Well, there's BKB #1 out of Loader, and it just gets a Nyx assassin kill. Not a bad kill if you're like taking a fight to start off killing the Nyx and then going on to the next targets, but those next targets are just so damn tanky. Ogre with all his armor, the Solar Crest, the Vlads. The itemization from Escape and YapzOr specifically has been really good this game, and that's a big problem. You've got Butterfly and Era now, so more evasion, more agi against the physical damage. I feel Loader's next item needs to be MKB. I mean, looking at once that Aegis expires and is getting replaced, the MKB likely what should be coming out to help deal with all this evasion. will expire, and Escape could go on him. Even if you don't kill him and just force another BKB, that's a win in itself.
Yeah, quite eyeing him up. Calling for some more of the team to maybe swing across. Era's going to have Omni Slash back up in 5 seconds. So they could look for a quick pick, but already Alliance back up to their own base, up to the high ground, grouped up. And yeah, indeed, eyes on what their next purchase is going to be. Jonas Fan, I imagine, looking for a BKB for his own. He has got the money.
Yep.
But at this stage, if you're Alliance, are you just looking to hold on for buyback gold as well on these cores? Rather than going all in on items?
I think you go all in on items if you can complete them, just because you're kind of at that point where you have to buy back in a fight, you're likely lost, or you're buying back without a BKB on a Sven. I mean, I guess a Sven or a Dragon Knight could get burst down before they use their BKB, so a buyback means they will have it, but if you can buy a game-changing item like an MKB, or I guess he's going to go crit for Loda, so he goes to the Crystallis. Either way, he needs more damage. Those kind of plays are going to be necessary to win this game, I think, because they're very much in the back foot now. They're struggling to deal damage.
Here we go, ready for the jump up. Alliance ready for the chase down. BKB popped by Jonas Fan. They'll look to focus Trixie first. Trixie burrows up. Will finally be taken down almost certainly by Loda's damage. Indeed, that's the first kill for Alliance. Limp chasing down Yapzor. The healing ward's out. They probably want to take that down, and they do indeed. Limp gets the touch onto it. EGM being focused by Cinderun, but Hansken's there with the backup heals. They'll surround Yapzor. Alliance take down a second. EGM still gets another crush out, and with the heals from Hansken, EGM's going to be fine. And Alliance looking to find themselves a 3rd kill in this team fight, and they will get it with a vacuum back from Jonas Fan. Another strong fight from them as Alliance continue to climb their way back into this game.
Really, really good smoke usage there, just recognizing that at some point you're not gonna get great use out of these BKBs unless you can find a full-on team fight, and they smoke up, they catch Escape, force a fight. Does again get those BKBs now down to 8 seconds, so it's not like a absolute catastrophe for Escape, but they got no kills out of it. It was just the BKB usages that go down. Mostly the supporting cast dying, like you losing the ET, the Ogre, and the Nick. I think both carries didn't die at all, so it was just the supports and the offlaner, which is where if you're Escape, you're not overly worried about that fight, but definitely the kind of moves Alliance need to continue to make. Smoke out when they've got them, find a fight, good initiation from EGM as well as from the Darkseer from Jonas. He has to lead the way as Darkseer. He's the one with the gem, he's the one who's going to scout out the Nyx and get him out of that burrow. If you ignore the Nyx in a fight, you're asking for trouble. Kind of becoming a problem that Trixie is still only level 12 though. Doesn't he maxed out all his spells, hasn't got that level 4 Carapace yet. Does really want to max all of these out as soon as possible. Feeling like he is fairly under-leveled.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great start, but it certainly seems, yeah, off the back of these fights, he's started to fall behind. A lot of the times he's been, you know, part of the crew that's been taking the hit on Escape Gaming.
Yeah.
When it comes to losing members.
What the next few plays are going to be, it's Alliance who do have to worry about another Roche respawn now. Something that they took last time, but it did require them to move out on the map, and they want to push out these lanes as much as possible, maintain some map control. They have a gem, but they are going to miss that cliff ward, so something where Escape do see them coming and moving out of the map, so Alliance can't really get undetected. It gets a whole lot more difficult to stop that Roche from happening.
Mid lane. Both teams showing themselves. Understandably, Escape Gaming just being a little bit careful how they jump into this. The last few times has not gone too great for them. Alliance have been able to turn it around.
Kind of playing the map control game now with using their vision. They've got really good vision up despite the Darkseer gem. Couple deep wards, a ward around the Roshan pit, and with Roche respawning, that's something they're going to be eyeing off. But more than anything, these wards are also showing that Alliance aren't back. They're pushing forward, and Escape have to be wary of this.
Looking to set up with a haste room.
Walked into it. There's Zenier.
He's going to blink down. In fact, he finds the courier here, and team might just get this one. One more touch would do it, but looks like they'll get it out into the sidelines just in time. BKB's coming through. Immediate jump in the back wall onto 2. They burst it down Sin, but at the same time, Era with the Omni Slash finishes off EGM. 1 for 1 at the moment. Era looking to hide in the trees. He still has the Blade Fury. Doesn't have any TP, but he's got the blink up and the backup of his team. In fact, he's going to blink forward aggressively. Immediately, Limp turns around with the Dragon Tail. The sleep from Absol not to catch anyone off the back of that stomp. Limp in a lot of trouble though. BKB on cooldown and the magical damage ripping him to pieces. They'll look to Loda with a false promise. Trying to make Loda being able to turn around for this fight, but he's held in place by the Earth Splitter. Era hitting down onto him. False promise is going to end, and the damage is too much for Sven to fall. Escape Gaming finding the exact team fight that they wanted here. Hanskin looking to just juke out with the Glimmer Cape, but the Sunstrike Vision is going to find him. Koikfa with the plays there to finish off Oracle as well. Alliance, they've lost 4. They do have buybacks available on Limp and Loda. But as we saw, just as soon as those BKBs are gone, it's very hard for the Lions to stand tall against Escape's team fight.
That was like partially what I mentioned with the BKBs just getting shorter in duration, but also that was just like they got no, even if those were 10-second BKBs, they didn't find targets with them. They initiate in, only caught the Ogre. Trixie was right by as well, but they couldn't even finish him off, so they just didn't have the right initiation with their spells to kill heroes fast enough that they got value out of their BKBs. The Lions have fought back, but they're going to be too late to stop Roche from happening, and that is a big, big worry.
This is going to be a tough point of the game indeed for Alliance. Both of your 2 top cores without buyback. And over on the side of Escape Gaming, you have an Aegis ready on Jug. Scardy's complete as well from Era. He is in a very good position alongside Koifa. And already Koifa looking to lead him. And the cover of Ghostwalk easily blinks away. They do have that gem on Jonas and Fan. So they do have to be a little bit careful with how they initiate with the Invoker. But in fact, well, Loda is headed up to the high ground, getting caught out with the Omni Slash as well. Loda's down and he's out for 90 seconds. No buyback. This could be the end of game 2 potentially for Alliance. Era chasing down Hanskin, Koifa blinking forward. Looking to see if they can find anything more out of this, but they've lost to Alliance. It's just going to be a question how the best of the 3 of these guys can hold the base against the full 5-man of Escape. It's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. Wolves drop, BKB's out from Limb, trying to force them away. EGM keeping their attention outside of the base, but he's out. And as we're seeing, just a little bit of a show here from Escape Gaming as they chase down Limb with the Diffusal Blade. They find the Dragon Knight as well onto the tier 4s. The GG is called. And Alliance again, where they did their best to hold on, had some convincing fights. At the end of the day, Escape Gaming just making the better decisions, outplaying them. And of course, at that stage of the game, where your buybacks are on cooldown, both of your cores are lost, the game is all but.
Yeah, Alliance made a really good move when they stopped and contested that second Roche, won the fight, then took ages. But I think outside of that kind of window there where Alliance looked really good, I mean, it was a very Escape-favored game. They had the early game advantage. They kind of 5-man really well around the first Aegis. They took that bottom lane of Rax in very safe, kind of methodical fashion. And it was just that one kind of Alliance moment of brilliance around the Roche pit that gave them those signs of hope. But later on in the game, we kind of saw the limitations of Alliance's draft when they were down on all these key items. Like Yapster was such a hero on that ET. He kept hitting the sleep on multiple heroes, getting the heroes behind in the back lines. He had Vlad, Solar Crest, he had a plate mail there, and he got so farmed as well. I think there was just too much of an item difference, and like a couple like really just good plays from the ET. Koikfa just got really big in the late game as well. And
I mean, yeah,
Escape.
not only in the late game. I mean, Koikfa's just straight up from the laning stage. You know, we saw him hit that 7-minute Midas timing, error as well. You know, he constantly just finding the space to farm. And Trix, even though he started to fall off at the end, definitely the start that he had, the impact he had at the beginning, making those rotations, finding these key pickoffs with the Sunstrikes from Koikfa meant that, yeah, Escape Gaming, even though there were kind of hiccups where Alliance hit back with these really great team fights, finding 3 heroes, losing nothing. You know, these clean trades, these kind of 4K gold swings that happened, I feel at least 2 times in that match, just wasn't enough at the end of the day because the overarching story was that Escape Gaming just making better progress. And
Yeah.
I mean, game 3 is going to be interesting to see who takes it. I mean, off the back of this, how can you call it?
It feels evenly matched. I think maybe still remains slightly Alliance. I think Alliance have been overall a little bit more impressive with their rotations and their moves. This game, it felt like a kind of very strategic victory. Alliance made a couple good early game moves, but strategically escaped just 5-man well. They made the kind of big meta decisions that they needed to. Kind of got to a point where Alliance had to commit so many heroes and resources to get 1 kill. Like the Ogre was so tanky. Like the ET, the supports are tanky. If you're going to kill them, they had to commit like a God Strength Sven with BKB. Same with like Trixie when it felt like he fell off. It was just that he got bursted down at the start of a fight, but he baited out like 2 BKBs and then died, and then it doesn't really matter because Escape can win the fight after that. But yeah, game 3 is going to be a close one. I mean, draft has been kind of a big part of it so far, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Alliance, I think, has been very, very good as far as their rotations and movements go. Escape, I think this game, draft-wise, execution-wise, are a little bit better, so Game 3 should be close.
Absolutely. So I'm sure you guys won't be going anywhere, so don't. Indeed, Game 3 round the corner between Alliance and Escape Gaming. We're going to have a short ad break, and then we'll be straight back with some more Dota 2 here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague LAN Finals.